Hello there. I am Kat the Human. I do look like LeQuack from Courage the Cowardly Dog right now, but what my hair is doing is just simply not my business. So this video isn't about the answers or what's right or wrong. It's just a snapshot of what I personally believe to be my truth right now. My beliefs have changed before, they will certainly change again, and change is necessary for us to grow. As you probably know, I practice magic, but my spiritual beliefs are also influenced by philosophy and psychology and other religions and my mundane experience as a human on this earth. So this is just kind of a check-in at what my personal beliefs are at this point right now in my life. Also, I think this video could help a lot of people who view my content understand what the hell is going on half the time. So let's start with my magical practice. It's mostly just rooted in basic witchcraft. I do a lot of folk magic. I wish I had what kitchen witches have, but I just simply don't. But sometimes I like to pretend when I'm in the kitchen. I do a lot of cleansing and protection spells. I work with the moon a lot. The moon is really big for me. Banishing or manifesting kind of rituals depending on where the moon is at. I'm pretty consistent with basic divination. I'm still getting used to tarot, but I feel like I'm pretty fluent at it at this point. And using pendulums. I love my pendulums. I was on a glamour magic kick for a while, but I lost that and I'm really trying to get that back because it was really good and hopeful for me. And God knows I need the confidence right now. I'm an animist, so I believe that everything in nature has a spirit. River spirits, forest spirits, animal spirits, and I believe that even deeper, all of those spirits are connected to kind of a greater spirit. That being said, I like to work with those spirits. I like to give them offerings, ask them for guidance, that kind of thing. I think it's super important to respect and understand the nature around you, especially where you're residing. Not even to mention understanding the land that you reside on and where that came from and who lived on it before you. Because why the fuck don't we do that? As for things like deities, ancestor work, death work, or spirit communication in general, I'm in a really weird phase right now. I've come to realize that my religious trauma and my OCD have held me back from a lot of things that I want to implement in my practice, but that fear is not rooted anywhere in reality, so I'm trying to work with that and kind of come to terms that I can do those kinds of things safely. I am actually currently reading Consorting with Spirits by Jason Miller. It is helping a lot for me to understand what all of that stuff entails and that it's not as terrifying as I keep making it to myself. So all of those things are not yet in my practice, but they will be very soon as I learn and understand and feel comfortable enough to do so and get out of my head, because that holds me back a lot. That's a whole thing I could make a video of. Speaking of deities, in my practice I use a lot of symbolism, so on my altar you can see things like a loon and a crow, which I think kind of represent the dark mystery of the natural world, which goes along well with Pan, the horned god of the forest, which I've been drawn to even before I had a spiritual practice. I'm still kind of trying to work out and understand my beliefs and how I feel about deities and spirits and entities and whatever, which I think the book is definitely going to help with, because I can learn about a Greek god all I want, but that still doesn't tell me what that means to me or how I feel about it. So I'm kind of trying to educate myself so that I can make that decision. I also want to be super transparent about the very Hinduism-based beliefs that I carry, and I should clearly state that I have a deep respect and connection to Hinduism, but I do not practice Hinduism, and I don't claim to. I understand that these things and these beliefs exist within a tradition that is separate from mine. That being said, I believe that the Hindu god Hanuman is this being who is completely selfless and constantly serves others, and I find that so beautiful and moving, and I like to use that as a reminder to myself to always find compassion for others and always take care of my fellow human when I'm able to. I also have a connection with the Hindu goddess Kali, or the Divine Mother. She's super symbolic, so if you're looking at her literally, she is terrifying. But to me, she is this fierce, motherly figure that can help you break down or destroy these illusions illusions or attachments or other things that are keeping you from your liberation. She unconditionally accepts you with all of your shame and guilt and fear and anger and negative emotions or thoughts or ideas. Again, I recognize that I have no authority to teach or preach about these things, and I don't intend to, but it's something that helps me feel connected to the divine and something that I find beautiful, so I thought it was important to share that. Let's talk some of my philosophy and psychology influences. I've always been a big philosophy and psychology nerd. I've always been trying to figure things out ever since I literally got out the womb. Believe it or not, Alan Watts was actually what started my entire spiritual journey. I know philosophers hate Alan Watts, but the first time I heard him talk, it felt like my own beliefs were being expressed outside of my own conscious thoughts, and that I will die on that hill. I love Alan Watts, okay? Then I also listened to a lot of Terrence McKenna and just random YouTubers or whatever in like 2014 to 2016. So at that point I was like, oh, Buddhism, that's it. That's what I believe. And then came Ram Dass. So I read Be Here Now in like 2017, I think, which changed my life, by the way. So after reading it and listening to his lectures and stuff, that's when I really got interested in Hinduism. And also Ram Dass just kind of set the groundwork for the exact kind of person that I want to be. Loving awareness, compassion, all of that stuff, and beliefs that I still hold to this day, like there is nothing except the present moment, like nothing else exists, or like striving to become nobody. Peep my first tattoo. I still think I would go as far as to say that Ram Dass has been my favorite spiritual teacher that I've had on my journey this far. Recently, I have been enthralled with Carl Jung. He is the psychologist who coined the term of the shadow or the shadow self, which is where we get shadow work and all of that stuff. Also, I just love that he was brave enough to bring spirituality into psychology. That resonates so deeply with me because I truly think that if we combine spirituality and psychology, we can really get to a root of a lot of problems that we have and better ourselves. He also had the idea of the collective unconscious, which has always been a thing that I believed and something that made sense to me. He was also super about dream interpretation, which is something that I've always felt called to, and I'm trying to study right now, and could potentially be a service I would offer at a later point if anybody was interested in that. Law of attraction. It has always been a big topic with me. I still believe, but a bit differently now. I've always been a big nerd about quantum stuff. That goes without saying that I don't understand half of it. But the idea of other planes of existence and parallel realities and stuff like that, I fucks with it. But with my OCD diagnosis, I am coming to realize that a lot of beliefs are not healthy for me. A big one being that our thoughts create our reality. I used to fight with myself so hard because I naturally think very pessimistically, and I have many intrusive thoughts on the daily. So I came to accept the idea that I can work towards a more optimistic subconscious mind, but in the meantime, that does not mean that every bad thing I think about is going to happen to me. But I still very much believe in manifestation, aligning yourself with the kind of life that you want, etc. This one's gonna come as a shocker, but I am healing my religious trauma and my relationship with Jesus and the Bible and whatnot. I actually think he was a really cool guy. And for about the last year, I have been loosely, and by that I mean loosely, studying the Bible, but everything that I thought I knew about it has changed. I have many, many thoughts and opinions on the matter, and I could make a whole separate video, but I'm just gonna leave it at that I think Jesus is a cool guy and the Bible is not what people try to make it to be. That's it on that. On to like general spirituality, which I believe is just our personal truths that help connect us to something deeper than our human existence here on Earth. So loosely, as for a creator, I do believe we have one, not in the sense of a personified, singular conscious being that created everything, but more so a collective conscious, universal, unified thing that created our existence. I'm still ironing that out, but that's what I got so far. I mentioned animism. That is something that I believe. I believe in good and evil within humanity. I think we oversimplify good and evil in terms of spirituality, so I won't even get into that. As for purpose, I'm still not sure if I believe we have a predestined path or if we have free will. IDK TBH. But as Alan Watts said, the meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple, and yet everybody rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. So that's it for today. This was kind of broad. If anybody has any questions or anything, I am completely open to answering them and talking about it or making another video. Also, today is the first of my Sunday uploads. From now on, the plan is Sunday uploads weekly. So look forward to new videos on Sunday at 4 p.m. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching and subscribing and liking and being my friend. You can follow my other social media accounts. They are in the description. And until next time, where there is love, we will live on. Where there is not love, we must provide it. If you've watched this far, should I buzz my head? Tell me if I should buzz my head. I kind of want to buzz my head. It's basically buzzed at this point. I might as well just fucking buzz it to say that I've buzzed it once in my life. Okay, bye. Oh my god, oh no.